welcome back.
Thanks for having me back. I appreciate it. Hope
Yes,
everybody's
we're
having a good
excited.
day.
yeah, yeah. How are you doing, everyone? Welcome to our live. Okay, if you are familiar with my channel, welcome back. If you're not familiar with my channel is all about spirituality, about relationships, our relationships, how it relates to our relationship with ourselves and with others, and we talk about all the not so cool stuff, the emotional stuff,
hmm
about the people pleasing, about the needing external validations, and all the stuff that a lot of people not really talk about, but we face those things. Let's face it. Okay, so if you are watching live or watching the replay, feel free to leave your comment or questions in the chat or in the comments if you're watching the replay, and we will do our best to answer them. Okay, so today's topic is: are you feeling past pain?
This
These
is a
are
good
the
one.
steps to finally heal once and for all. And you know what, Mani? Like many of us, like we don't allow ourselves to fully feel our emotions and to process pain from our past, right? Because it's a natural thing. We obviously want to avoid feeling pain, right? And
Right?
we have like a coping mechanism in our body that if we're feeling like negative emotion, oh, no, I don't want to deal with it, right? But the paradox is when we try to avoid those things, we actually anchoring them in our body, and this is how trauma is created, right? And when I say trauma is like a big word, right? Because
It's
trauma,
a it's
it's
a
not.
broad umbrella. There's a lot of things that fall under
Yeah, it
trauma.
doesn't have to be like something like really big that happened to you. It can be like something little, like someone told you something in the second grade, right?
hmm
And you just took it like, oh yeah, he's right, and you just believed him. And it can be another thing. It can be like you are experiencing like bullying, like I was experiencing. Like if you are bullied. So this is really trauma, but trauma is actually, we will dive deep into what is actually is trauma is. But what do you think about this topic, Mani?
Oh, this is a really big one because I mean, like you
Mm-hmm.
touched on, we're two things. We're really not taught how to feel our feelings, to work through our feelings so we can release
Mm-hmm.
our feelings. And
Yes.
so what happens when we don't express them, we internalize them and it becomes a part of us that we don't
Mm-hmm.
even think about anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and definitely, I mean, everybody at one point or another in their lives has experienced a form of bullying or taken in somebody else's expressed opinions as
Right.
and it becomes a part of you. Basically, you carry that with you through life in so many forms. It can be as simple as, like you said, something that somebody told you in the second grade. It could be something
Yes.
that, I have so many friends whose well-meaning parents told them, expressed an opinion about something about that person, and basically they internalized it and it becomes a part of their operating program. And when we don't allow ourselves to feel those things, since emotion is an energy in motion, as it were,
Right.
when we internalize it, we don't deal with it. Well, now it's locked up in there and it's got to do something. It's got to have somewhere to go.
Right, and you know what? We were taught like you're not allowed to cry. Why are you crying? Like it's not a good things, right? You have to suppress your emotions. And you know what? I told you that like yesterday. Like a side note, a lot of men like having like a heart issues because especially men, they are not like it's not like really manly to show their emotions, right? So they suppress it, and then it becomes like heart disease, right?
Yeah, it can become an issue. Like, actually, you can hurt yourself with a broken heart, as it were,
Mhm.
if you don't
Right.
feel through it.
And you know what? I'm a big fan of you need to feel it to heal it. And I'm not saying that you have sometimes, you know what? sometimes you have to purposely remember or to recall this experience, because emotions are neither good or bad. But of course, we want to avoid the negative emotions, and we want to embrace the all the positive ones, right? But when we are not allowing ourselves, because emotions is just an energy, emotions, and we don't, when we don't allow ourselves just to feel them or to move through us, they're getting stuck in our systems, right? And these are how diseases are created, right? So you know what, like trauma, it's not really the issue. Trauma, the experience, it's not the trauma. The trauma, it's not us letting ourselves to process the emotions, right, that we are experiencing. And this is actually trauma. It's not the event. It's not we are not allowing ourselves to feel the negative emotions we feel like in regards to this event, right? So we are suppressing it in our body, right?
Yep. Yep. Exactly. So,
And okay, what were you
no, I
saying?
wasn't. No, I was gonna say go along with what you were
And you know
gonna
what?
say.
Another thing, like in the spiritual community, there's like it's something that called like spiritual bypassing, right?
Bypassing.
And yeah, and I used to be like that, like, oh no, 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 I need to be like positive, and everything is sunshine and rainbows, and you are not allowed yourself, you're not allowing yourself to feel those negative emotions, but it's not sustainable. And it's not like you can't really, it's not realistic to be like that. And everything is okay. It's okay to feel down. It's okay to feel depression from time to time. It doesn't mean that something is wrong with you, right? You just have you really have to embrace those emotions, right?
Yes.
And okay, bring it on, because it's not going to stay forever, right?
Exactly. Exactly. But it's not going to stay forever if you deal with it. If you
Right.
don't if you don't deal with it, if you don't cut yourself some slack, give yourself some grace, I mean, you're not going to release it. This is a perfect embodiment of dragging your past into your
Yes.
present, and it's going
Yes.
to basically it's going to affect your future
Exactly.
or
Hello,
the now.
everyone in the chat saying hi.
Hi.
Yes, because you know what? Another thing, the present moment, it's a clean slate, right? But
Every
because we
single
have
second.
our, yes, because we have our conscious mind, and we mainly thinking about the past or the future, we used to, like you said, to drag the past into this perfect present moment. And and this is how our, what you call, future is created, right? So really, like, the key to change your future is just to deal with the present moment. And yeah, we have to release those negative emotions, right? And you know what, how do you know when you still have like negative emotions in regard to a certain things, right? How do you know it? When you feel
You
a
still feel
trigger.
bad. Yes.
Yeah, when you feel a trigger, like if something happens and you like your response or your reaction, right? It's like, it's not like it's out of the ordinary. So you know that there's something there that you need to deal with. And you know what? A lot of the time, people experiences the same experience over and over again. It's just a different, the same experience, different people. And like why every time I'm experiencing the same thing? Because there is a saying, it comes up to come out.
Out. Yes.
Yeah. So when something comes up, it's because there's something you're repressing, right? So every time you have like a trigger, be curious about your triggers, and instead of reacting, just tell yourself, you know what? why am I reacting like that? Like, is there something? Is it familiar? Is this pattern or this type of experience is a familiar? So this is really a big cue for you to know that you still have like repressed emotions in regard to a certain situation that you haven't dealt with yet, right, Mani?
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah.
Like it's really, I know everybody has friends out there that, I mean, really good friends that have basically they've told them what they've gone through in life, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because they want to be able to share, and the person that they're talking to, they want to see if they understand where they're coming from or if they have a similar experience. And very often
Right.
it turns out, yes, that's the case, because all of us have taken in, without really thinking about it, taken in other people's opinions and made them our own truth. But
Right.
we did, but, because we didn't know how to deal with the emotion that that evoked in us. So basically, it's like, okay, no, we're just going to digest it, and it's just going to rest somewhere in the body, because honestly, we don't know how to deal with this crap, right? So when somebody says
Yeah.
something like, you would be so much more attractive if you just lost like 50 pounds. Like, people would love you if you just lost weight. What does that say to the person? The person says, in their, at a certain level, oh, that means I am unlovable, and people will
Right.
not find me attractive because I'm well rounded. No, that is not the case. That is somebody else's opinion that you've adopted as your own truth. That becomes a trauma.
Right. And you don't even question it,
Nope.
right? Because that's what you were told when you were like a little child. And also by our parents that when we are little, we think they are gods, right?
Yeah, when we're very little, yes.
Yeah. And there's like all those beliefs about ourselves that we're assigned to by others without even questioning them,
Yeah,
right?
exactly. Exactly. So that's a lot of stuff to move through, since we're not taught
Mm-hmm.
how to deal with that when we're little. But that's what makes this particular life that you're coming up with exceedingly well timed. And it's going to apply to everybody in some regard or another. So everybody's going to get some value out of this.
Yeah, and you know what? A trauma, it's not, like I said, it's not something like big. A trauma, it can be like someone like, I don't know, like told you something when you were like in the second grade or something. Oh, you know what? You are not very smart. Or, you know what? It can be like your parents like didn't pick you up at the right time and you feel like abandoned, right? It's really little things that we are not really so aware of them, right? And you know what, another like if a really great tool for us to deal with those kinds of emotions or triggers, or which leads to our like it's just a signpost to remind us, oh, there's still trauma, there's still something that you haven't dealt with
Dealt
yet.
with.
So self-expression, it's really important, because there's a saying like not expressing. When you not express yourself, you suppress things. Not
Yep.
expressing is depression, is suppression, which leads to depression, right? Which leads to disease in our
Dis
body.
and we have to take a look at that word, dis-ease.
This is
So
right.
so that is a body that is not completely at ease and in, a good alignment sort of thing with how things, like, our bodies are actually very efficient if we don't put a lot of stresses on them.
Yeah,
They're made to heal themselves very well, sort of thing, but you go and toss in a bunch of this stuff that we accumulate over our lifetime, and whoa, if we don't deal with it,
yeah.
dis-ease. Yes.
Yes, and no one can tell us, you know what, there is no correlation between our mental state and our bodies. Just think about it. When you are anxious, you automatically feel it like in your stomach or in your, I
Mhm.
don't know, everyone has like a different body part that you can feel when there's like a lot of like depression or, negative emotions or anxiousness, right? So what are the steps to finally heal them? The first step is awareness, right? If you
Yes.
are not aware of something, you can really fix it, right? And And you know what? Yeah, I'm just looking at the comment right now. Okay, so what I was saying?
Oh, so where do we want to
Yeah,
acknowledge.
awareness. So you
Yeah.
have to be aware in order for you to start to change it, right? And a lot of the things, there's a saying, Manny, and I experience it from in my experience that healing happens in the presence of a compassionate witness. And think about it, because most of us, when we express ourselves like vulnerably, like a lot of people are going to judge us, right? And to give their opinions, even if we were not asking for their opinions.
Hmm.
So a lot of people just not expressing it. So like for example, if you're like a coach or someone that is neutral, is like it's much easier for you to express yourself because you're not feeling judged, right? So just this is huge. Like I had like a lot of trauma, and just by me expressing it to someone, like at the time I had like a coach, and just by me expressing her those like what I experienced, is like 90% of the healing occurs when you start to express your emotion. And you really just have to face those emotions. You just have to face it. It's like a monster under the bed. Yeah, when you don't see it,
Uh-huh.
you're scared, and but you just have to take a look under the bed and to see that there is no monster. And if
Exactly.
it's just like you will feel like uncomfortable for you. You will fall apart. You will cry. You can cry for hours, right? When
Right.
you talk about this experience. But this is like, for me, this is what worked for me, is just to start to express and to talk about this experience. And by doing so, you can release it, like literally you release it from your body.
Yeah. Yeah. So your voice carries an energy. Your energy
Mm-hmm.
carries a vibration or a
Right.
frequency, right? So
Mm-hmm.
when you notice a trigger,
Mm-hmm.
basically, which I mean, triggers and traumas, the two T's, they go hand in hand, sort of thing. So when somebody expresses something and it triggers you, this is an opportunity for you to it brings up this emotion. Let's not get worried about this emotion. Let's not get too excited or have anxiety over this emotion. Let's step back and observe where that comes from.
Exactly. Mm-hmm.
And when you are an observer and not a participant, when you're the observer, this is where the power is to be able to find out where that past trauma lies and get rid of it. Just say, thanks,
Right.
that's a part of my past, but it is not a part of my now, and it's not who I am. That was somebody else's opinion. I don't need it anymore. It doesn't serve me.
Right, and that's a huge one. Like being present, just to start to watch. Like you can watch yourself, you can watch yourself like you're in a movie, like on a screen, like it's not even you, right? And this will help you to bring the emotional disconnect from this experience, right? And you
Yes,
will start to associate yourself with the emotions that are like around surrounding this painful experience, right? It's not even like your own, right?
exactly. But
You're
you
looking
think
at it
it's
like,
your own, like, because you took it in, right? Like,
right,
other people's opinions or thoughts,
right,
basically, or something that they may have said that didn't even apply to you, but you found a way to make it apply to you. Because that's what we
right.
do a lot when we're kids and when we're younger, sort of thing. So that's that is allowing somebody else's energy and opinion to have complete control over your self-esteem and how you feel and how you interact with people. I mean, it colors almost every aspect, and it becomes a self-repeating program on the inside until we deal with that emotion,
Yeah,
until
and
we
I want
just
to tell you,
recognize it, release it. Yeah.
I experienced bullying, and bullying, like if you, if you experience bullying, is an experience, especially bullying, that you will take for the rest of your life. Like, and you know what? And if you were like to encounter like by accident someone that used to be little, like you feel shame, like it was you, but they did it to you, but and still you feel all those emotions, all the shame and the unworthiness, like you did something wrong, but you know what,
You
you
never
haven't did
did.
something wrong. Yeah, you know, of course, but when you're a child, you don't know any better. Of course, there's a lot of, you know, like low self-esteem and a lot of those things, but you know, but when you experience it, this is one of the loneliest experience and painful experience that a child can ever experience.
Yes,
And it really
that is
scars
true.
you until you become aware that you are not responsible to others people behavior and actions,
And
right?
opinions. And opinions.
And opinions. And a lot of the time when you experience those emotions, those experiences, it makes you feel like you are not safe, like literally you are not safe in your body, because a lot of the time when I experience it, you experience like you know, a lot of violence from those children, right? They're like taking your backpack, they're throwing it away, right? They're
Yep.
making threats.
Yes. Yes. And at that point, like, I'm sorry, when you're a little kid and you become the victim of, like, playground bullying or whatever it is, pretty much at that
Mhm.
point, unless your family enrolled you in martial arts, you have zero skills to be able to defend yourself either physically or emotionally. Like,
Yes,
that's as raw and as basic as it gets. So when
yes.
you don't feel safe and you're experiencing something like that is where a trauma occurs. Now, so when you watch somebody else getting bullied, well, what's your first reaction? Well, that shouldn't be happening. I need to step up to that person or that kid's defense, like right now, and tell those other kids to back off. Like
Oh,
there's the
you
whole
know what?
mama bear
I
thing
was
that comes
doing
out,
that.
right?
I was doing it. Actually, I was watching one parent. He bullied another child. So like I went to the child and asked him, you know what? Is this your parent? And he told me no. It's just like one of the parents, like of the children of school. So I went to this parent and told him, you know what? Like if you have like some kind of complaint about this child or whatever, go to the principal of the school or whatever, but don't be like, you know, don't be like behave like a bully to a little child that it's not even your own, like you don't have the right to, right? And most painful thing that when you see sometimes a parent that behaves, but this is a story for another day, a parent that behaves in like, yeah, in that way to his own child, right? They don't know that they leave scars to children, and probably these children will grow up and he will have like a lot of low self-esteem, and he will think that, you know, he's not lovable, or that love is conditional, right? That he has to act or behave in a certain way for other people to love him, and then you start to be like a people pleaser, right?
Yes.
So, and people are not just walking around with all those, you know, emotions, and they're not even like aware of, oh, you know what? It's something that I need to pay attention to, because, you know, literally it's your quality of life. Because you can walk around, you know, you can, right? But it's not really like a good life when everything like triggers you, because you have like a lot of built emotions that you haven't dealt with from past painful experiences. And you know what,
Yeah.
Mane, it never stops. Even when you start to be aware of things, it's never stop, because you are never healed there. You're always healing, right? So there's always another layer that you need to shed, right? And you have to shed the light of your awareness. And you know what? Just by being aware, because it's like you are like getting into a dark room and you switch on the light. What happens to the dark?
It goes away.
Yeah, just by
There
switching the light, just by switching your awareness, those painful experiences are going to go away, just like the monster under your bed. When you're going to look for this monster, it's nowhere to be seen, right?
Exactly. Exactly. And I liked what you were saying about, like, so the way that we are that we're designed
Mm-hmm.
to like experience and process emotions and release
Right.
them. Again, this is not something that any of us really got taught when we were kids, sort of
Right.
thing. It was suppress everything, feel nothing.
Right.
Um, so when you say we're naturally built to process emotions, I mean, when you say you said when we deny ourselves, that we block, we just put it's like we put a dam in place. We and the feeling is in behind the dam, so we don't process it. It doesn't come out, and it gets held in. That energy gets held in. That's a lot for the body
Right.
to deal with, sort of thing. So when we allow the block or the dam, when we get triggered on something, when we allow that to dissipate, to open, we process that old emotion and we just go, huh, yeah, that really sucked at the time, and that made me feel this way, but that was just somebody's opinion. Does that really serve me now? Is that who I am?
Right. Right.
Sort of thing. And then you can just let it go. Just let it
Right.
go.
You know what?
It
Because
wasn't
the
yours to
power,
carry to begin with.
yeah, because the paradox is when you run away from something, you actually invited it in. It's a paradox.
It is.
And when you just embrace it, it's like when you have like uninvited guest. When you just
I
when
hate
you
those.
just like,
Just kidding.
yeah, you just like go away. Like they're at your door. I don't want to see you. They will stay, right? But if you just open the door and oh yeah, that they would just have to have a talk like for 5-10 minutes or whatever, and you just send them away, right? Just our emotions, especially our negative emotions, are like little children. They just want to be acknowledged, right? It's like if you're
Yeah.
like a little child that is like having a tantrum in the middle of the like supermarket, let's say, right? He will continue, but he will do it until you look at him. And when you look at him, he will stop, right? He just want to be acknowledged. Your negative emotion just want your attention, right? And just by acknowledging them, they will subside in time. And I do it like all the time when I experience a negative emotion. I'm like, and like and I feel it like throughout the day. Hey,
Sorry, somebody was wanting some attention.
yeah. So when I feel negative emotions and I feel it like throughout the day, without even like paying attention, but it's in the back of my mind. So I'm like, okay, yeah, you know what? I haven't acknowledged you yet. So come on, okay. What do you want?
Let's deal with it.
Yeah,
Yes.
what do you want? And you know what? You can try it out. It's like magic. When you just start to face those emotions, right? They will like get scared or something. They run away to the opposite. I don't know how to describe it, right? It's like someone wants your attention, and when you give them your attention, it will subside and it will relax, right? And a lot of the time, I don't want to go any deeper, but a lot of the time, it involves our inner child, right?
Mhm.
Because it's
Yep.
like our wounded little child that just want attention and just want that everyone will love him. But you have to love this part of yourself, your inner child. And sometimes you have like to, you know what? I'm here, like nothing is happening. You have to be like the adult to your
You
past.
have to be the parent. You have to be your own
Yes,
parent to your inner child at that
yes,
point.
because a lot of the time, what we want to receive from others is something that we need to give ourselves. It sounds cliche, but think about it. When you really want something that is external, that is outside of yourself, a lot of the time it's something that you can give yourself. And because you haven't received it in your childhood or whatever, right? So you are like in a seeking mode. Oh no, I need to get like this like fix, right? I need to get this fix, right? Where do I get this fix? Where do I get this compliment or someone that will, give me this sense of safety? But you have to do it for yourself, because if you are dependent on someone else, like an external, it's not going to be sustainable.
Right? Exactly. Sorry.
Yeah, so have you like money? Have you experienced something similar that like you had a trigger, something like
Oh
occurring,
yeah.
like experience? Do you want to
Yep,
share something?
definitely. So I am um back in the 70s they had no idea what ADHD was.
Mm-hmm.
So I kept getting told by, my teachers and adults and stuff. It's like you need to focus on, this stuff in front of you. This needs to be done. This needs to be organized.
Mm-hmm.
And I would see everybody else around me completing it basically that task with like no issues whatsoever, and I'm just sitting there struggling and feeling like I am sinking in mud and trying to tread water at the same time. And that
Yeah.
made me feel less. And like I wasn't living up to the expectations or, that sort of thing. I wasn't like everybody else. And what
Mm-hmm.
happens when you're a kid and you don't feel like everybody else? You feel like you don't fit in. So that
Right.
becomes your narrative,
Right.
right? Because you're not told, hey, your brain is just a little different and you might be a little slower, but you're no less thorough. You just need the tools and the time to be able to deal with those things.
Right.
So, yeah, like I said, back in
You
the
feel like a
70s, they did
pariah.
not
You
know.
feel like on the outside looking in, right?
Yep. Yep. But, and that's still like that when I finally got diagnosed with ADHD, it wasn't
Mm-hmm.
until, basically what, 10, 12 years ago, maybe? Like
Mm-hmm.
it was very recent. So now I'm in my 50s and I am still struggling every now and then, excuse me, to be able to take that narrative and that feeling. If I make a mistake, I feel it 10 times worse than everybody else. I
Right.
catastrophize what it's going to do to my
Right.
life, sort of thing. So that is a trigger that, I mean, just has so much emotion built up into it from over the years that it's something that I continually work on. I have to find where that hurt is and let it go, because they didn't know at the time how to be able to help me deal with this. So I had to mask
Mm-hmm.
my ADHD-ness, as it were, or my neurospiciness, which I love that term. Um, I had to learn how to mask and try and make myself look and act like everybody else so that I could feel
Right. And
accepted.
all of us experience you. It's not like you are something like special. You just have courage
Different.
enough to admit it. No, to admit it. Because in a way, it doesn't matter how you were raised or, rich or poor or whatever, or popular or I don't know. We all deal with those kinds of emotions, but when it comes up, we suppress it again, and it comes up again, and the same situation, different people, and we ask ourselves, I don't know why I'm experiencing this, like the same situation, because this is like something that it's like a red flag. You have to, you just have to give it attention. So, like the way the easy formula, it's really easy to let go and to release like trauma and past pain, right? And the first step is awareness. You have to be aware of your triggers, of your reactions, right? And just
Yeah.
by awareness, you can make like 90% of it like go away, right? So you have to be aware, and then I'm telling you, you just have to face it. You have to sit with your, if you know that the cause of your trigger is like past pain or something or whatever, like you were saying, like if you are feeling not worthy or something, so you just, if there's like a really specific painful experience, just sit, just call this experience. I know that a lot of people, especially in the spiritual community, like they will tell you that you have to ignore it or suppress it or whatever. Yes, if it's like, but if it's something that, it's over and over and over, the same theme, the same subject, it comes up. So there is something that you really can't ignore, right? So, but
Yeah.
you have like the formula once and for all. You just have to like sit with your emotions, talk about it to a compassionate witness. It can be someone that you trust. It can be And you are never alone. If you think you are alone, you are never alone. You always have someone that you can connect with, even like online or whatever. Even you can read a book or to hear like a podcast of something because what you are experiencing, I promise you, someone like in the universe, like someone experienced it too and wrote a book about it or made a video about it or whatever. It's not something new. So you are never alone. You always can find someone that you resonate with, so you can confide with and you express yourself. And also you can also journal it, but when you express it, it's really powerful experience. I ran away from home when I was 18 and I experienced a lot of things. And when I had like few years ago, I had a coach and I told her everything. I was a wreck. Like I was crying for hours. But you know how I felt afterwards? Oh my God.
Peaceful, calm.
Yeah, I didn't know how to heal it. I didn't know. I tried a lot of different things, but just by me facing this experience, I don't know,
It's
it was like,
amazing.
it's
Yeah,
amazing. So the tools are be aware of the trigger. Let yourself sit with the emotions, with the negative emotions. Or if you just experience like a bad day, right?
which we all have.
Which we all
But
have.
we have to have it for contrast. We got to have some bad days to know what the good
Yeah.
days are really like. So,
Yeah, so just give your attention to the negative. It's like give your attention to the negative experience, to the negative emotions, and it will start to subside because, like I said, our negative emotions just want our attention, and once you give them the attention, and once you like quote to quote like embrace him, and you know what,
mhm.
like bring it in, okay, I see you. Like I'm talking to my negative emotion. I see you anger. I see you like sadness. Like yeah. And when I do, it's like I'm telling you, it's magic. Like I invite you all, if you're having like a bad day, just start to talk your negative emotions. It's like a little child that just want your attentions. And when you give those emotions your attention, they will start to subside and you will start to feel better. Like I promise you.
100%. It's
Yes.
so let's take this example really quickly. Because I know we're going to be we're out of time shortly. So let's
Mm-hmm.
say you have like a best friend in high school or whatever, and your best friend does some action or says something that really,
Mm-hmm.
really, I mean, it hurts, right? So we're
Mm-hmm.
taught basically when we're little, hey, people have opinions and they're going to give you their opinions and they're going to say stuff and you just need to be okay with it, sort of thing.
Right.
You got to, but the good friendships, the wonderful ones are the ones where you can just feel safe enough to go back and say, okay, you said this and that's your opinion, but it made me feel this way and that wasn't
Right.
cool, sort of thing. So,
Right. Yes,
having
this is
that.
a huge thing. Vulnerability, when you are vulnerable with people. Another thing, when you have like, sometimes up until now, like me also, sometimes I struggle to express myself, but I heard something and I embraced it. You can't push away what is meant for you. So if you have a friend or whatever, like a boyfriend, a friend, a family member, and you express yourself, you can't really push away. It doesn't matter what you say. If these people meant to be in your life, so he will accept the good, the bad, the ugly, like everything, right? And if you are experiencing something, he will ask you, so how can I help you with it, right? I see that you are struggling. I see that, right? So you touch on a really good point, like being like you need to express it. And also when you are vulnerable with someone, that is a true connection, right? Because if I'm like, you're my friend, man, and I would show you all my episode, oh yeah, I'm cool, like everything is cool, it's not reliable, right?
It's not
It's not.
authentic.
It's not authentic. And you know, like the best friendships and the best connections happens when you really share something vulnerable with the other person and you feel like more connected.
And then after having that talk, basically now whatever the way you were feeling now gets released. It's you've expressed, they've listened, you release the emotion that that gave you because now you dealt with it.
Right,
That that doesn't get to affect you anymore. So
right,
and we're often taught when we're little as well that confrontation is a negative thing. And
right,
and maybe, confronting somebody about something that they said or did, even the word confront puts a negative spin on it. It's going to
right,
suggest that it's going to be hard and it's going to be, it's going to be a fight, and your anger and everything is going to get raised, and now all of a sudden you have
yeah,
anxiety about it. So and so there's I mean, it's all a work in progress, and it's all we have to
right,
learn what it is that works for us so that we can release these stuck emotions when we get triggered from past
right.
traumas.
Just be curious about your triggers and ask yourself if it's a recurring theme in your life, right? If it's the same experience with different people, so there's something that you don't want to face. And also, Marnie, just to touch on the last one thing, we talked about it yesterday. It's not when we are scared to express ourselves to others. It's not a black or white. Oh, either you are like a good person and you are not confronting these people, or you are like a bad person, right? Because you are saying what's on your mind. But there's a gray area. It doesn't have to be like that, right? So there's
Right.
a gray area when you're allowed, like in the container of the connection or the friendship, when you allow yourself to express yourself, right? Of course, to say it like in a respectful way, and it doesn't mean that you are bad, because if we're taught that if you're not pleasing others, you are bad, right? You are a bad person. It's
Mhm.
not, you are not being polite, right? When you say no.
When you're not putting somebody else's, welfare or well-being, when
Yeah,
you are not considering them above your own, that's where we start
right,
having issues. Like, I understand that that was perceived to be the nice thing, but that's at the expense of your own mental and
right,
emotional and spiritual
right.
well-being.
And no,
Then no.
if you are like putting your own needs first, so you are selfish, right? But think
Yep.
about it. There's a saying, you can't pour from an empty cup. You have to be full in order for you to have
To give
something
to
to give.
others. Mhm.
So it's
Exactly.
not really selfish. If you want to keep giving to others, keep giving to yourself consistently first, so you will have something to give, right? Because then
Exactly.
we start to feel empty. We become the martyrs, right? And then we start to feel resentment towards the situation. Oh, you know what I did for you,
Exactly.
like our parents. Oh, you know what I did for you, and this is how you repay me, right? This is like a universal. I don't know, but if you're a parent, like this is like a universal thing. You know, I done all this, and this is how you repay me,
Yep. Exactly.
right?
Exactly. Well,
So
we have touched on a lot of stuff today. I think this is a really
yeah.
good subject, and we may have to continue this on another
Yeah, on another
live
line.
on
And
Up the Way.
if you have questions and you're watching the replay, like feel free to comment or to ask your question, and we'll be answering them. And I want to thank everyone for watching. And Marnie, final words?
Oh my goodness. Okay. Recognize that sometimes the things that you hold true for yourself was never true to begin with. It was somebody else's opinion that you internalized when you were very young, and it
Right,
became a basis for who you built yourself to be. But
right.
that's not your truth, and it doesn't need if it's not serving you, get rid of it.
Yeah,
Deal with it,
start
get rid of it.
questioning your beliefs. Start questioning your beliefs, because maybe those beliefs are outdated and they're not even your own, right?
Exactly.
So be aware of your beliefs, be aware of your triggers, be aware of your negative emotions, and acknowledge them. And in
And let them
time,
go.
yeah, and just by acknowledge them, you're going to let it go. Automatically, it's going to happen. You don't have to do anything or to try to let those go. Just acknowledge them, and just like when you are entering a dark room and you switch on the light and the darkness go away, it's the same thing. Just shed the light of your awareness.
Yes. That sounds
So
good.
everyone,
Yay!
thank you for
Good stuff.
watching. Thank you for
Thank you very
watching.
much.
It was a pleasure. And we're going to see you next week. So thank you, everyone.
On
Money.
Wednesday. All right.
Yeah.
All right, here we go. Da 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 da. Bring your hand back just a little. Just a little. There you go. Ta-da! All
Yes.
right.
Bye, everyone. Bye bye. Much
Bye,
love.
everybody. Thank you.
Thank you.